Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just less than 3 months away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is, of course, going to introduce many different revelations, twists, and turns that's going to bring us back to the prequels and the originals in a different light by JJ. And what J.J. Abrams truly wants to do is he also wants to make this the darkest Star Wars movie of all time within the Skywalker saga, even topping that of Revenge of the Sith, which honestly I think is going to be a very hard task to complete, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, beyond all of this, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of Rey inside of a strange tower, where it's explained that she is meditating through the ways of the Force, where the Skywalker saber is said to be in her hands, where it appears to be in two halves, with a kyber crystal floating in front and the middle. It's explained that the scene takes place in the first act of the film, where Rey is reforging Anakin's lightsaber back into one piece, where as she does this, it's explained that Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost voice can be heard in the background, guiding Rey while doing this, where also Darth Vader's breathing and dialogue is said to be a part of the sequence and can be heard while Rey is focusing on the kyber crystal and the saber pieces to the hilt. Eventually, it's said that the two halves eventually snap together into one piece, where the kyber crystal is now inside, where as this happens, it's explained that more dialogue of Luke and Vader are heard in the background, which eventually leads to a scene which, of course, Rey deactivates it. Once this happens, it's explained that Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost voice tells Rey to go to visit Leia into a particular star system in the Outer Rim for her journey. It's said to be a sequence where it establishes that Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost has been guiding Rey for some time now, and that it took some time to complete the saber design. The scenery is said to be that of Rey and how she's sitting inside of an observation area of a tall tower, overlooking a city that may or may not be Batu from Galaxy's Edge. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, what's really intriguing about this particular sequence in the first act of the film is that we are going to see exactly how Rey puts together the Skywalker saber, and it really does make one wonder exactly whether or not this is going to be in the form of a technical flashback where it's going to take place sometime in between the events of The Last Jedi and, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, before one whole year is up, which, by the way, The Rise of Skywalker takes place roughly 1 year after Episode 8. Now, in current canon material that's coming up for late 2019 and 2020, it does indeed set up that Rey has the saber design already before The Rise of Skywalker even begins. So this could very well be a little setup to, of course, the first scene in present time that's actually going to be used in The Rise of Skywalker. So with that being said, the first piece that I really want to go over here that I really do believe is a great way to kind of bring that deleted scene from Return of the Jedi back to life in a certain way, where originally in Episode 6, Luke was actually developing his green saber, puts it together, ignites it in the cave on Tatooine. Now we have the same exact type of scene, where Rey's doing something very similar inside of a tower. So it seems like that J.J. Abrams is looking back to the previous movies and deleted, concepts and sequences, etc., and how he could actually use that as inspirational material in order to throw it into the story of Episode 9. So it's actually described that this is a brand new kyber crystal, and as she focuses on this, the Force Ghost voice of Luke Skywalker is said to be heard guiding Rey, as well as dialogue and the breathing of Darth Vader in the background. Now, the biggest question of all, right? We do know that the Skywalker saber is going to really be a big part of Rey's journey in this movie. In fact, the Skywalker saber called to Rey for a specific reason in The Force Awakens that is now going to be fully explained in, of course, Episode 9. And it all has to do with something to do with the title, The Rise of Skywalker. So, with that being said, when we have, of course, Episode 9 as a film between J.J., George Lucas, and Chris Terrio, they really wanted to use a lot of sequences that show off kyber crystals, holocrons, you name it, in order to make it really much familiar with, casual fans and new fans around the world. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is that there's a lot of talk that this could very well be the world of Batu, since in canon, it's actually pretty much, made that Over in Batuu is where Rey gathered the pieces in order to complete her new saber design, based on the Skywalker family saber that once belonged to both Luke and Anakin. And what I like about that is that it somewhat kind of connects to Galaxy's Edge. Now this is said to all take place, like I say, in a tower overlooking a city that could very well be the world of Batuu, which is the main theme park area for Galaxy's Edge over in Orlando, Florida, and of course over in California. So, on top of all this, guys, let me know what you think about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.